Herzlich willkommen zurück zum Nycehoops Podcast. Mein Name ist Niklas Ney und heute starten wir mit dem ersten Interview über Menschen, die durch den Basketball eine zweite Heimat in Deutschland gefunden haben. Mein heutiger Gast ist Dan Oppland. Getroffen habe ich Dan 2016 als Gegenspieler. Damals war er jahrelang Teamleader der Nürnberg Falcons in der zweiten deutschen Basketball-Bundesliga Pro A. Als er dann 2018 nach Heidelberg gewechselt ist, durfte ich ihn als einen sehr aufgeschlossenen, hilfsbereiten und lebenserfahrenen Menschen kennenlernen. Heute spricht er über seinen Karriereweg, welche Orte auf der Welt er bereist hat und wie sehr ihm sein Bruder auf diesem Weg beeinflusst hat. It was actually pretty nice to research you because you don't really get to do that with your teammates when you're actively playing. So I would just like to talk you a little bit about your background, where you're born, where you went to high school in St. Louis, and especially with your twin brother growing up, because you had also shared some stations along the way with y'all.
Yeah, man. I grew up in St. Louis, Midwestern kid, typical, suburban, great, middle class family, great upbringing, great family. I had a twin brother, Mike, and my older sister, Sarah, and we grew up in a Catholic family. Always kind of thought we'd go to a Catholic school. Went to Catholic schools until middle school, till junior. After, so it would be gymnasium. Once we started gymnasium level, after sixth grade, we decided to go to this private, non-denominational Whitfield school. It's like a 6 through 12. So we went in at the time. It was only seventh grade. Now they have sixth grade, but we actually played a basketball. It's funny, we played a basketball league there. And the coach there saw us playing, saw our whole team playing. They had an AAU team. And he was really interested in 3 or 4 of us. And ended up that I think 5 of us from that team went to the school. It was very, it's like a prep school. It's hard to explain because they don't really have those here, but it's like a very expensive school to go to, So we needed financial, we needed financial aid to go to it. But so it was like an eye-opening experience for me and my brother because, we see kids with kids driving BMWs, these high school kids, it's crazy. Very, very different from what I was used to, the middle class where we grew up. But we decided to go there. We took a chance. It's a very small school, 200 kids, very small. And we went there 7th and 8th grade. Then we had a decision to make. Do we want to go to a bigger, typically where I come from, the city, we're from the city, you go to a Catholic high school. We had a decision to make. Should we go to a Catholic high school, a bigger school, get more exposure? Should we just go to the smaller school, and see if we can even, make a name for ourselves and play right away? So we decided to stay at Whitfield, and we made varsity our freshman year, which is not common. Doesn't happen a lot in high school. And we ended up me and my brother were both starting by a freshman year. We won the state title my sophomore year. And then from then on, our name just kind of got put on the map a little bit. Got, just exposure from that. There's 3 high-level AAU teams in the area that took all the best players from the whole area. And we made one of them. And from then on, man, we just the confidence grew. And then in junior year, you playing summer ball in front of a bunch of coaches. And then that's when the recruiting started happening. The interest started after the sophomore year, but then it really got high wire junior year, senior year. And that's when we decided, we had I think 15 to 20 Division I offers, Mike and I. We always wanted to go together. I wouldn't say I was better than Mike. I mean, I think I was just a little bit more, maybe at my position, a little bit more. Basically what I'm saying is I got more offers than Mike, higher level offers, but we always decided we were going to go to the same school. So a mid-major program. And we had 5 schools that we were going to visit on official visits, and we went to Valpo. It was our first visit. And that we committed to Valpo right after the visit. We didn't even go to the other schools. And looking back, I kind of wish we would have, but it turned out to be a good decision regardless. And yeah, so we went to Valparaiso University in Indiana, or Valpo. They've got a storied history in March Madness, and yeah, we went there, man. And Mike event actually left, and I stayed 4 years. I played, started 3 years, all conference 3 years. I had a great, I had a really great time there, and really, really was very fortunate and lucky. Played in March Madness, the NCAA tournament in 2004 against Gonzaga, which is unbelievable. And
Yeah, I looked at the roster. Back then they had Ronnie Turiev and Adam Morrison in it, future NBA players at the time.
yeah, Dan, yeah, they had Corey Violet. I mean, they were stacked. Blake Stepp. I mean, they even had a couple of those guys were on the cusp of NBA, so they were a loaded roster. And we had to play them in Seattle. Washington was basically a home game for them, but it was still a great experience, man. I mean, we played at Key Arena where the Seattle Supersonics used to play. That was their arena, and they filled it up pretty good. I wouldn't say it was fully packed, but there was Gonzaga fans everywhere. I remember that vividly, and it was an amazing experience. Yeah, and then so we did the career was like in levels. You play high school, you're thinking, okay, maybe I have a shot at playing in college. You get good enough to get the highest level there. Then in college, you're playing, and then you hear stories that maybe you can play professionally, this and that. Yeah, so I had a really good college career. I got invited to play Portsmouth after my senior year. It's a top 64 camp. It's like the seniors, the tops. They pick 64 seniors of the nation that aren't going to be drafted or aren't at the NBA, aren't guaranteed NBA picks. Yeah, I got to play against a lot of NBA coaches, ton of European coaches there, so that was huge for me. And then I got into the door, got signed with an agent, started playing overseas. That's where it all started, basically. And
I never heard of that camp before. What is it?
oh,
What is it like?
Portsmouth, Portsmouth. I still think they have it. It's called the Portsmouth Invitational Camp, and it's basically 3 days. You play 3 games basically in front of every NBA team is there. European coaches, it's just a bunch of agents. It's just for the agents to look. It's really hard to really gauge. A lot of these guys already know who they want, but you just play 3 games. Basically, everyone goes on teams. It's just three games. Still a cool experience. I mean, still really really cool.
So it's basically kind of like an extra platform for the senior guys that weren't like invited for like NBA training camp or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can still get an invite to a training camp later on. I've seen guys. There's a lot of guys. I mean, there's guys that went to that ended up being NBA All Stars or made roster. So it's just it's a way to get your foot into the door if you're not already knocking on it. And then there's guys like me who probably there's a few NBA you have interest, but it's not like you know that much like real interest that just go there to see if they even have a shot. And so that's kind of what I did. And it was still cool. So that was that was right after that's right after the season. So then when the NCAA ends in April, then that thing was like, I guess it was the end of April or May. It's literally a few weeks later. And yeah, that was 2006. And then by then I had an agent, and then I was in Netherlands my first year right from the start, and then it just progressed after that. Then I ended up in Netherlands, and then I went my first year. Then my second year, I moved around a lot. Went to Poland, then I went to Sweden, then I went to Bayreuth at the end of my second year, and then I signed again for the next year. So you said a year; it's over like a year and a half. I was in Bayreuth. So that was 2000. Oh,
2008, you came to Bayreuth.
Yeah, 2008 January, and then I played till 2009 the next year in April or something like that. So that was it. That was Germany. That was my first German experience, and yeah, it's always special because that's how I still remember my wife Katia. She was a student at Bayreuth, and my brother Mike learned German in high school, and he knew a lot about the culture, and he'd already played. He was playing there at the time. He was in Kaiserslautern, and he was telling me all about it. I got there, and I was, as being an American those first few years, I was still kind of like, oh, America's number one, and I don't really want to open myself up. But I love the place right away. I really kind of got connected to it, especially Bayreuth, the city. I loved it, and
Very nice beer.
yeah, good beer for sure. The beer fest, I was there for sure. My first year, the Meiselgeist Fest. Uh, And yeah, they asked me to come back the next year, and I was like, I don't know. I had in my mind, and still back when you're a young kid, you're thinking, okay, second league, not thinking that it was still great basketball. And I'm looking back, there's some really good players, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna get something better. I had an agent at the time, of like an NBA agent. He said play D League. I went back and forth, and it was getting late. It was in the fall. They still are offering. The offer's still on the table, and it was still a good offer. And I decided finally to take it. I came back. That's when I met Katia that year. So it was like a blessing in disguise. And yeah, I had a good year. We almost moved up that year. One game away. We got second, but we tied for second, and the other team, Hagen, moved up instead of us. NBC won the league that year, but we beat them twice. We still didn't move up. It's crazy. And then yeah, so then I was kind of hoping to get back and stay in Bayreuth, but that didn't work out. I got injured, and then the Austria thing came up. And I was actually there for 4 years, not 3, but that's all right. And that was an amazing experience playing there, playing with some great players. And I got the, kind of, I think I learned. I always thought, I would consider myself a winner, but I think I really learned about what it took to get to that level, the championship level, and how to keep it, because we had so much success winning championships, and there was a couple guys that were really instrumental for that, influential for me. And it became kind of like a home for me. My first time being in Europe, I actually had a home away from home because I've stayed there for more than 1 year.
Yeah, how was that like the first couple of years playing overseas? You had any international experience beforehand? Because I know.
Yeah, I went to Spain for 2 weeks with my AAU team during my senior year. They always did that. This guy always took the team, the seniors of every AAU team. They'd go to somewhere for like a couple weeks to get experience. So I kind of had a little bit, but we were just partying. We were in Spain, so it was completely different from being in Netherlands. And the adjustment was tough, I gotta admit. My first year was really tough because the coach was just fully demanding. I mean, he was just always screaming, a yeller, never positive. So that was just something I wasn't totally used to. So mentally, I wanted to leave after a month. I was ready to go. My parents were just like, "No, you're staying. You get through it," and I got through it. It was fine. It was a test though mentally, but I had some great teammates, and we bonded and we stayed close together. We had a great connection that year. So that got me through it. And I had a girlfriend who was living in the States at the time, so that was also really tough. So I was really homesick for a while there. I was really struggling with it, and I got through it. Second year, I struggled again too. I kind of lost the passion a little bit of basketball, but then I didn't really say this. But going to Bayreuth was really a game changer for me because there's a Javon Harris, who's still to this day, one of my great friends, like a brother to me. He just helped me find the passion again. I just found passion for playing again because I was almost ready after that second year just to go home, be with my girlfriend, you know, start the next phase. But he, he just, I don't know, he supported me. He's like, man, because we lost like our first 3 or 4 games. I remember at Bayreuth, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And we started winning, and he just kind of, we started enjoying it again, and then I just found that passion again. And the next year I met Katia. It's me and my girlfriend in the States. We broke up in the summer, and So it was just meant to be, man. I'll be honest with you. And then after that, it was just everything just came back, and I got the love again. Being in Austria, like I said, was just amazing. And yeah, if the crisis with the money, like when was that? It was 2000. After 2008, there was an issue, but then there were a few years, like 2012, 13, there was another little crisis, financial crisis in Europe, and the club, if they had the money to keep me, I would have stayed probably another. If I could have, I would have stayed for as long as. Who knows? I might still be there, but yeah, it was time to move on after that. So yeah, and then it's funny though. Went to Finland the next year, and that's where my brother Mike met his wife. And he lives there now. He's in Lahti. That's where I played, which is it's just crazy the whole process of where this life takes you, and I still go back to that city and visit my brother when I can. So but then after Finland and getting back to Germany, which I always wanted to do, that was always my goal. That was always Kadi and I's goal was to get back to Germany eventually. The Nuremberg was amazing. 4 years. I loved the city. Had some really good teams. Had a couple I mean, as you know, I mean, we had a shot for a couple years, well, 1 year to move up. Probably should have, but that is what it is. And yeah, so still like got friends from there to this day. Still go back there. So
Yeah,
and then like
I remember my first couple of years when we played Nuremberg. You were always like one name that I always associated with Nuremberg because I would only know you playing there. That's why I was surprised that in my last year in Heidelberg, you would actually come play with Heidelberg.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how everything works out, man. Yeah, it's really interesting. But I'll tell you what, too. I tell Kadi that like Heidelberg was a special year too. Not just because of our team. We had a great team of guys. I mean, it was special. We were really successful. Uh, thought we absolutely had a shot to move up. We were right there. But too, just to have Fiona born there is just something that's always going to be. I tell people that to this day, it's something that's always going to be very special in my heart. And it's a great city. It's just an amazing place. So. Uh, I'm just so happy we made that decision to go there. So it was really, 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 really cool. And I still have contact with like you. I have contact with Serena. So there's a few people, Eric, Jalen. So that tells you right there. Really good group. So yeah. So everything happens for a reason, and it's been an amazing ride. And now I'm here. you know, like I said, the adjustment from being a high level professional every day, playing only with professionals to, playing with kids it's an adjustment, but it's been a very, very, light, what's the right word? Very,
Pragmatic.
pragmatic. That's a good word. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it, man. That's my career in a nutshell. But I've been lucky. It's been an amazing ride. So it's been more than just the game. That's what makes it so special.
Yeah, what I always find interesting is like how the people you meet along the way, they influence you, and also uh, how you cross paths with people that eventually play on a very high level. I know in Nuremberg you played the season with Braden Hobbs together, who of course is now star point guard of Oldenburg. In Heidelberg we played together with Jaden, who is now performing on an MVP level in the BBL. So it's always nice to hear like the stories of like the people back then, and how maybe there was already like a little glimpse of what they're capable to do, and maybe like in some way, shape, or form, you maybe played a role in their development to get them at a place where they're at now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say I got from where they were, but I mean, I like Brain. I mean, Brain and I are really. I told you guys that we're still really tight. Um, we were close like that. We had a great instant connection, and seeing Brain play was just special. Playing with him was special because this is something you never see. It's just a different, the way he reads the floor, his size, and his court savviness is something you just can't teach. And So I think with me more than just on the court, was just off the court stuff, just making the adjustment because that was kind of his first time in Germany with his wife there, and just helping with everyday things. 'Cause we were neighbors, we lived right next door to each other, and just being like a brother to him. That was more than anything. Um, I hope that's what I kind of achieved in that, and yeah, it's just amazing. I never, I always knew Braden was better than where he was. I knew he was going to go higher than Nuremberg. I mean, even first league for sure, but just to get to where he got, it's not really surprising, but it was still amazing to see. Because I just would never expected to see him in, you know, at Munich, playing EuroLeague. Not that he's not good enough, but it's just, from that where he was, and then it was only a few years later, the fast transition is amazing. And what Jalen's doing now is not really, honestly, with his ability and his body and his mindset and how he is as a person, I'm not too surprised. I tell people that because I just think he just needed a chance, and he needed that second year in Heidelberg to get his confidence, really get his confidence. I remember one time in practice, I was telling Phil that he's going to be a first league player for sure. I was like, yeah, right. It's really cool to see. I'm really proud of him. I actually just wrote him. I wrote him a couple weeks ago on Facebook. Just telling him really proud of him, and just love seeing what he's doing and just keep it up. I think he really appreciated. He wrote me back, and yeah, he's just couldn't be having to a better guy. He's a great dude. That's your boy. So I'm just really excited for him, and it's exciting to see how the season will end. Because they're just playing that team is just an amazing team. And, he's the catalyst, so we'll see if they can keep it up. But, I'm excited to see what his future holds because he's gonna have some some big decisions to make. I think he's gonna have some options next season. For
Oh
sure.
yeah, definitely. I always
Yeah.
think it's nice to see people like that moving up the food chain, so to speak, in basketball, because I know in professional basketball you can also tend to get a very egoistic mindset, basically play
Yep.
for your next big contract, and it's really nice to see people that stay true to themselves, staying humble,
Yeah.
and being rewarded for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in Jalen too, same like Bray, but what I loved about Jalen, especially, he always was trying to grow and trying to get better. He'd ask questions, and I remember he used to come up to me a lot and ask questions, and you know, just the fact that he wanted to get better and listen is just amazing. That's what it takes. So
Yeah.
there's no surprise there. I mean, he's got that. He's just got that factor, and he'll keep. I mean, with his confidence where it's at now, he knows what he's done. So I'm really excited to see. So,
Yeah, so then in 2019 you moved to Bernau, been playing for them ever since. I know the reasons for you doing that, but just talk about it a little bit, of course.
yeah, it was kind of funny. I thought after Heidelberg, I was like, we were waiting to see what Heidelberg said. We were going because if they wanted us to be back for another year, then I was probably going to stay there. And then they decided to go another direction, which is totally fine. We're at home sitting around, and I'm just, I'm already in the process of doing the teaching, which I'm doing now as well. And I was getting my register for all that at my wife at Kadia's school, and it's like, I didn't know if I really wanted to play anymore. I was kind of ready to stop, and my agent kind of contacted me and asked me what you think, and I was like, well, I mean, there's not really many options. I'm gonna stay and play. So, and I really didn't want to play Pro B, to be honest with you. Not that it's not good basketball, it is. It's just, I don't know. I was just kind of set on Pro A, and I was just kind of ready to. I don't say I was ready to quit. I still had it in me, but I was like, I don't have to quit. Well, he's just like, well, let me make a few contacts. He contacted Bernau, and they were interested immediately. I mean, Renee Schilling contacted me right away. He called me and we talked. I met with him and the GM, and they kind of told me what they were thinking, plan. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll go, play another year, and it turned into another year, and it's going to turn into another year for next year, and yeah. So it's like I said, it's been rewarding and challenging at the same time, but it's always challenging. That's what it is. But, yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here. and it's a great, like I said, it's a very small club, but I love, like, it reminds me kind of where I was in Austria. Very small club, although they have a lot of success in Austria, and I think Bernau can get to that point. And so it's really cool to be around the people that I'm working with on a daily basis. So I've enjoyed it, So it's
Yeah.
fun, and I still like playing, so why not? That's what I would say.
Yeah, like in Heidelberg, you already had that kind of a mentorship role. Now, how much different would you say it is in Bernau, especially with the connections up to Alba, with all the young players that uh, you played with, and probably, but who are also playing BBL and EuroLeague?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like Malta, Dilo, it's really cool to see his progress. Because last year he was basically just with us, but now this year he's barely doing this. He's legit. He's in the rotation now, and it's really cool to see his development. And I think sometimes it's tough for him this year because he'd have to play EuroLeague with them. He has a tough schedule. He'd have to come and play with us. He hadn't practiced with us for months, and he'd have to do, he had to do so much, and that's just a tough thing to do. It's hard to ask a kid at that age, especially. But he handled it really well, and he's got a great attitude. And it's cool to see the development and ask questions. I'm interested. I like to grow. I ask them what they do. What does Alba do in practice? How do they scout? This and that. Lawrence Brennick is another kid who hasn't really gotten a lot of time for Alba, but he's moved up and down a little bit. He's played really well for us. He's a big man. I really like him, like his attitude. So we'll see what happens with him. But as regards as a mentor, the young guys, yeah, man, it's different because playing with other professionals, guys with more experience, even though it might be younger, you can maybe say a thing or explain something to them, and they kind of they got it right away. They kind of just have that feel. You can make a pass or move, and they're going to be there. With these youth, some of these youth guys, it's not the same. It's different, and it's just a process, and you gotta maybe explain it to them a couple of times and go over with them. That's okay. That is what it is. And I've learned at first it was really hard for me. I'm not gonna lie, just to play. I got really frustrated, but now I've learned that these guys are trying. As long as you're trying, that's all I care about. That's what these kids are doing. They give good effort. They try. They want to get better. I had kids come up to me sometimes and say, "Can you work me out before practice?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." "Can you work me out after?" "Yeah, that's the problem." So, and like you said, the Alba thing is huge. They got that training centrum. They got the coaches there. They got a nice deal. I tell them that. You guys got a really lucky. It's really there's a lot of kids in Europe who would love to be in your position right now. So don't waste it. And so it'll be interesting to see what kids can develop to that next level. Uh, it'll be very interesting to see. So, but it's been cool. It's been a cool experience. So I just hoping I can keep going for one more year. So yeah.
Has Bernard already approached you for coaching positions? If you ever thought about ending your career?
Yeah. I mean, that's something we'll see. Nothing specific yet, but maybe in the future. I'm hoping. So we'll see. Definitely. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested. So, it's something I think I'm passionate for. I always want to be around the game. Teaching's a good side job, and it's very stable, and that's what I love about it. But it's not where my passion, where my heart lies. My heart lies in the game. I know I need to be around it, so I definitely would love to be involved some way or form, some way, shape, or form. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I already I also experienced myself studying to become a teacher as well. It's very complementary to the coaching job. You learn some things and methods, some extra stuff around the game, around sports,
Sure.
and you can also apply that to coaching as well.
Exactly, man. You know it for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So for the end, I got some smaller questions just for you personally, if you don't mind.
no problem, buddy. Shoot away.
Yeah. So basically, your whole career, you were carrying the number 42. What's the story behind that number?
Yeah, nothing too special. I always was 32, growing up as a kid or high school. because of Shaq. I love Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. And freshman year, like I said before, Mike and I made the varsity team. We were the only freshmen. And they had the last two jerseys to pick from were 42 and 43. So I got 42, Mike got 43, and kind of the numbers always stuck with us. That's basically it. Nothing else to it. So
Do people know who's like the older brother, like who came like a couple minutes first? Was
I I,
that like
I don't
part
know.
of the decision who gets which number?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, with you, I don't even know how that happened. To be honest, I think we just kind of like I said, I'll take 42. Mike's like, yeah, I like 43. But I don't know if that even was an issue at the time. It was so long. Even though I am the older, I'm 2 minutes older, so I guess maybe I did get the first pick. I'm not sure. But it's kind of worked that way.
During your career, during off season, what was your favorite activity during that time?
During the off season,
Yeah,
uh, you mean during my professional? You're talking about my
yeah,
professional?
professional.
Uh, oh man, I just traveling. I mean, just getting away, especially to going home to the States. You know, it's different now because you have a job, so it's like Monday, you have the Monday through Friday routine. What I loved about basketball life was only basketball was like you almost went through by seasons. Like, all right, once the season ends, it's like summer all this time, and I was just looking forward to go home, man, or travel around Europe, travel. You know, 'cause we love to travel. Before we had Fiona, that's all we were doing, and so just to travel, man, get out. That's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, what places have you seen that like inspired you the most so far during
And
that
you, oh,
time?
there's so much, man. I mean, we've done so much traveling. If I had to pick one, it's tough, man. Wow. Oh,
Name like your top three.
top three places I've traveled to. Okay. That's hard, but I'll just give it a go. I'll say Palermo was amazing. We went to Palermo. Uh,
Where's that at?
southern Spain. So it's in like an island. There's Spain. It's on Sicily. It's on the island of Sicily. There's That's Spain, Italy. There's Italy, and then there's like a little island disconnected from it, and it's called Sicily. And Palermo's there. We
Oh,
went
on
there.
Sicily. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Italy. I've been to Italy so many times, but it's got a little different vibe. You know, it's hard to explain, but I've been there twice. That's amazing. God, man, we've been. Well, we took a trip in the States from Cody and I from the East Coast. We took from like DC to Boston, no DC, no Philly to DC to New York to Boston. We did like 4 areas. We saw a bunch of stuff, and we did it in like 11 to 12 days before we were going to fly to Chicago to see my family. So that was amazing, man. That was an amazing trip. Uh, that sticks in my mind. And then we did a trip with my parents. We went to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side because there's the U.S. American side in Buffalo and the Canadian side in Toronto. We went to Toronto, and uh, that was an amazing trip too. But man, I've been like in Europe, man. You can name. There's so many places in Europe I've been. I just love Europe. So that's it's hard to distinguish the European. But yeah, if you had to say those 3 trips, I guess I'd say those 3.
Any places that are still on top of your travel bucket list?
Always, man. Shoot, you name it. I probably. Yeah, I want to get to. I've been to China for basketball, but I want to get to Asia. Like, I want to get to like, like Cambodia, Thailand, something like that one day. That's down the line. Indonesia. Uh, I definitely want to get to like Australia or New Zealand one day. Yeah, man. I got a lot of trips we got to do. So hopefully one day down the line we can make.
That's down the line where it's allowed and safe again.
Exactly. That's another thing. Exactly. Yeah. Right now, I'll just take going back home. It's been too long. Like,
Uh, a person or player that inspired you the most, like during your life, doesn't necessarily have to be basketball related.
person or player. Well, the obvious is like my influence and my parents, but I mean, like I always tell him, I wouldn't be I wouldn't have gotten the level or the attitude, mindset I've gotten without Mike, my brother. I was just having him always pushing me. He still pushes me. He still inspires me. That's the obvious. That's obvious. It's always been him. I even the story too. We played 2 years together at the Mood, so that was really special in Austria. We got that. He was just always pushing me. He makes you better. So definitely my brother.
That's nice. Always good to have a connection like that with your siblings. I know I have that with my brother as well.
For sure.
One last question. Like one big advice for maybe young basketball players watching this or listening to this.
God, it's a lot. Yeah, when it comes to the game, if you want to, if you want to make a goal, if you have a goal of wanting to make it or getting to a certain level, then don't let anything stop you, and you gotta get out of your comfort zone, and you gotta be able to take the bad with the good. That's what life's all about. Take the criticism, try to grow and become better. That's what I try to tell guys all the time. Knowing that things aren't always going to go your way, and be ready for the storm that hits, because after every storm, there's always a calming of the storm, And yeah, just if you're go all in or not, it's the only way you can make it. So I feel like, so yeah, what I'm saying.
I think that's a great way to end the episode. Thanks for taking your time, brother.
No problem, bro. It's great talking to you, man.
Hope to
each other. Apparently, you said next season, right? You're gonna.
Yeah, everything so far it's looking like that.
Hey, man.
We'll see each other on the court again.
All right, well, take it easy on me, man. I'm old now. I'm old and frail. Not what I used to be.
Nah, I'm sure you still got those post moves to stick me in the pocket.
Always got those, man. Always got those. Yeah. Good to talk to you, man. Have a great Easter, and yeah, keep in touch, man.
Yeah, definitely. Take care too.
All right, buddy. Good luck with everything.
Bye.
Bye.